Hey everybody, PC Outcast here, back with more Everlasting Summer, and now we are going for the Harem route, so we need to keep going. Damn that Semyon. There is no camp, no pioneers, and it really doesn't matter why I arrived here. My priority is to get out, quickly. I'll go forward. I shrugged my shoulders, trying to express a minimum of interest. Yulia stared hard at me for some time, but then took a couple of steps forward as if inviting me to follow her. Well, are you going? Seemed like for the first time today we got a bit closer to the city, like a few hundred meters or so. I was almost sure that I would reach it when I heard sounds of a car horn from behind. A bus, an Icarus, approached us fast, cutting through the night darkness with its lights. I stepped to the roadside. Yulia wasn't around. How did she manage to appear and disappear so unnoticeably? The bus slowly stopped next to me, the door opened, and Olga stepped out. Semyon, why didn't you come back? I asked you to. I could ask you the same thing. You said a disaster had happened, and now you... Okay. You suddenly softened. Get on the bus. What? What about the city? That's why we're going there, to see for ourselves. I hesitated. On one hand, it would be faster to go by bus. This road should lead to the city. On the other hand, the actions of the camp leader seem strange. We're going in the same direction for the time being, anyway. Okay. I agreed and got onto the bus. The Icarus went in the direction of the mysterious city, bouncing over the bumps. It was too slow, in my opinion. I was so tired that my eyes started to close. What about Yulia? Did I just leave her alone there? It looked like all the pioneers who had been in Semyon got onto the bus. Maybe she wanted to say something to me. However, regardless of my struggle with Morpheus, my loud snoring sounded from the back seat within a couple of minutes. Of course it does. Everything is over now. Or not? I wanted to get out so badly and to not fall asleep. Is exhaustion the reason? Probably not. It was like I got a dose of sedative. People can't lose consciousness just like that, and I never suffered from narcolepsy. My thoughts flowed fast and calm like a wide river. Nothing interfered with their flight because I was sleeping. But at the same time, it felt like I was conscious. I'm about to open my eyes and... An old, chipped ceiling was looking down at me. A big crack divided it into two parts lengthwise, as if threatening to drop the upper floors on me. The computer fan sounded peacefully but strained. Thousands of specks of dust danced beautifully in the air. The wind wailed outside the window, licking the frost-covered glass and then flying away, twirling the snowflakes in its wake. The bright winter cold moon looked down at my world, winking merrily. There was a ringing in my heavy head and I felt dizzy. A nasty aftertaste filled my mouth, as if I had eaten the contents of an ashtray and washed them down with a bottle of vodka. Realization didn't come at once. I was intending to go somewhere yesterday, and then I had a strange dream about summer, a camp, pioneers and their camp leader, about a strange cat girl in a distant city. I always forget the end of my dreams. Did I get to the city or not? Wait a minute. Was that really a dream? I spent nearly a week in that camp. However, the clock didn't agree with me. According to it, only about 12 hours had passed. I sat up on the bed and tried to remember. My feelings and emotions were really vivid, but the events of that dream were covered in fog. I remembered girls, their tears and smiles, remembered joy and sadness that we'd experienced together, but their faces and figures were concealed by shadow. And there was a mine of some sort, a bomb shelter, and then an island and a departure. And those damned grasshoppers which disturbed my sleep. And Slavia, and Lena, and Alyssa, and Yelena, and Masha, and Yulia. But there was something else, something beyond my dream, my life after, seemingly a new level of existence. Yes, I'd woken up many times, met those girls while being awake in this world, and then everything started all over again. This huge load of information just couldn't settle in my head. My memory was overflowing. I was forgetting something every second. I couldn't understand what was real and what was not. All the events of the camp blended into one fantastic picture. A collage made from hundreds of works by hundreds of artists with different styles. Scraps of feelings, shadows of emotions, parts of memories. My life was ripped apart and clumsily sewn back together, and the result was something like that disfigured doll I found in the old camp together with Yolana. Wait, or was it with Slavia? At night, search for Shurik flew before my eyes with all its details, but I couldn't remember the face of a girl who was with me that time. The dream was getting more foggy with every moment. Will it be forgotten soon? I can't let that happen. I must remember. Even without details, even without faces, maybe even without names. I'm sure it is not just a dream. It's something bigger, something very important to me. A voice started to ring in my head, and it was not mine, it was someone else's. It was quiet and distant at first, but it was growing louder with every moment, and soon I almost could make out the words. But it was probably just my imagination. One electrical brain impulse contained more thoughts than 1,000 books. I remembered something in that dream I'd left unfinished. The city. No, I had reached the city. Yulia. From the depths of my consciousness, the image of a cat girl arose. She stared at me furiously and moved her ears in a funny way. Was it not a dream? Was the week I had spent in the camp not a dream? I walked around the room, looked at the window. The outside world was the same as yesterday. I was on the verge of going insane. The silence of my flat was disturbed by the ringing of the doorbell. Who might that be at such an hour? I didn't want to open the door at first. I was even afraid, but then thought that it was a good opportunity to check. Was this a dream? People in the dream and in reality are totally different. I'll open the door and see. I made it to the entrance in 2 leaps, pulled on the door handle without even looking in the peephole, and... Hey, it's all the girls! The girls stood in front of the door. The girls from the camp? But something had changed about them. Yes, a different artist drew them, perhaps. I didn't remember every detail of their appearance in the dream, however, Slavia's hairdo. And Yulia seemed taller. Heavy silence hung in the air for a moment. I was petrified by thoughts. My thoughts frozen, feeling no fear or any other emotions. Yeah, everybody's hair is different, right? They all look a little different, too. Girls seemed not to be surprised at all. Hi, Slavia said happily. Why are you standing around like a dummy? Exclaimed Yolana. How do you... I got words into my tongue, but couldn't form a sensible question out of them. I had so many things to ask at once. Calm down, girls. You shouldn't shock a person like this. I remembered Lena at once, remembered our life after the camp. And Slavia, that conversation at the night bus stop. And Yolana, our encounter at the university. And Alyssa at my concert. And even Masha in the other world, but how? Well, yes, to cut a long story short. Alyssa started to speak casually. Don't be so surprised. Did you think you were the only one? In Savyanok? Yes, in Savyanok. You weren't the only one. We were there too. But how do you all together here? The point is that every one of us had her own camp and you had yours. I mean, in ours you behaved differently. Slavia sounded awkward. Really differently. You chased me with that cake. I barely managed to escape. It turned out that we remembered everything before you did and understood that they were not just dreams. Wait, but how is it... Only 1 day has passed. No, it's gone on much longer. At first, I thought so too, that only I had dreams about the camp, but then people from there started to become more real. You started too. She sighed deeply. And those horrors. Seems like Lena will start crying any second now. Stop it already. I told you 1,000 times it wasn't him, it was another Semyon. What does that mean, another Semyon? You see, there are many such dreams, many camps. Everyone has a personal one. And in each of them, you behave in different ways. Somewhere It is like that. She looked at Lena with sadness and went on. Many of your incarnations told us about other camps and other versions of us, but we were just dolls there, playing preset roles. I am not some doll. Yolana was outraged. We got tired of that, of course. We started to look for an exit, and one time I got into Miku's world. Don't call me that. But I remember, the camp was completely different there. We were shooting a movie, and... What's the difference? In any case, the dream repeated. Well, then we managed to connect the rest of the worlds into one for all 5 of us, and from there, it was all in the bag. Alyssa smiled, and I recognized that smile. The only thing left was to find you. To find me? Why? I certainly wasn't against it. Everything fell into place at last. Sovyanok, Pioneers, the camp leader, these girls. What about Yulia? Who? Yulia, the cat girl. Didn't you see her? Yeah, someone did mention something about that. But how could that? I still felt somewhat guilty about leaving Yulia. That's how it is. Each of us had only one world of our own, and you had many of them. And then we understood that only you were connected with reality. How did you understand that? Pioneer told us. I mean, the you who claimed to have been in that dream for a long time. Some weirdo, probably gone completely bananas. I couldn't get everything they were saying straight in my mind. Okay, wait. I put all my thoughts together. Then that camp was not a dream? Everything has been going on for a long time? There were many camps which had me and you, but each of you had one and I had many? I don't understand. That's about right. Stop sulking, you're so boring. It was a lot of fun. For example, I'd never visited Pioneer Camp. You probably hadn't either. But who was behind all this and why? That's why we came, to find out. But how did you find me? Suddenly I felt doubt and even fear. Yolana pinched me at once. Ouch! Just in case you thought you're dreaming. It wasn't difficult. Your copies could certainly be talkative if they wanted to. Or if you forced them to. Lena added quietly. So first we met in real life, and then we came to you. Greet your guests. Unbelievable. My life turned upside down in the blink of an eye. Obviously I didn't remember this dream, or dreams, as girls said, in full detail, but I felt too that the camp was something bigger than that. It brought us together, at first there and now here. Only the question of Yulia still remained. But might I know the answer? I could just forget it, just like I forgot many other things. Okay. I hope you tell me everything in detail. Sure. That's what we're here for. Well, come in. Don't stand on the doorstep. Tea, coffee, dance? I added, trying to calm down and come to myself. Lena's eyes glared. All right. We'll save the dancing for later. Okay. Wow, that's it. Well, that is interesting, so I ended up with all of them. Every story has its beginning and its end. Every story has its canvas, synopsis, content, key points, prologues, and epilogues. And there's a book. There's no book that rereading it would not reveal new details you hadn't noticed before. But every book has a last page, and after turning it over, we put the book on the shelf. Just open a new one tomorrow. So Yulia just kind of disappeared, or she stayed behind in that world, I guess. And the rest of us got out. Harem Master 80 level. Nice. Well, that's kind of cool. Kind of cool. Oh, I like that end. So it's some sort of shared dream thing, but I can accept that as an ending. But there is a DLC, so we're going to check that out because this is the end of the main game. We've done all the things, but there's DLC which is supposed to explain even more, or maybe completely turn everything on its head. I guess we'll see. Thanks for joining me. We will see you in the next episode.